the distinguished guests to be seated, please. Our morning session was full of reflection and review, and now this session is about recognition, inspiration, and pride. We are honored to have a number of distinguished guests amidst us, very highly respected names from the Indian Railways family, achievers who have not only made history, but continue to inspire generations. We shall start the second session, which is thought-provoking, by inviting our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. It's my pleasure to invite our dynamic and inspiring leader and president of AIRROA to the dais. Shri Venkateshwar sir, kindly come on to the dais. An association grows when it is guided by a passionate, enthusiastic motivator and an innovative thinker. Our president is an embodiment of all these traits. I request our Vice President, Sri Mehboob Ali Garu, Dr. Marathi Garu, to come on to the dais. I request our Secretary, Sri Sukumaran, to kindly come on to the dais. Request our Editor, Raildas Guardian, Sri Mohan Garu, to come on to the dais. It is indeed my privilege to invite the keynote speaker and achiever, future of Indian Railways, the creator of Vande Bharat Express, none other than Dr. Sudhanshu Mani Garu. I request Sri Shakil Ahmad, our EC member, to kindly escort him. His name exemplifies innovation, discipline, and a passion for progress. A perfect example of what Indian engineering can achieve when it is fueled with creativity and courage and commitment. And Dr. Sudhanshu Mani is an embodiment of all these three traits. It's my pleasure to invite our chief guest, Dr. Raja Goundan Garu, retired General Manager ICF, to the dais. I request Sri Damodar Prasad, our treasurer, to kindly escort him. Dr. Raja Goundan believes that true leadership begins with learning. He proved that academic excellence and administrative acumen can go hand in hand, even in railways. He is a visionary who blends knowledge with leadership and discipline with compassion, guiding all the people around him. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Malati. Now we have introduction, a more formal introduction of our chief guest. We are deeply honored to have Dr. Raja Goundan, retired General Manager, as our chief guest. I invite Sri Mohan Garu, Editor, Raildas Guardian, to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, Indra Madam. Sir, namaste and very good morning to all the elders and all the distinguished persons on the dais. Sudhanshu Mani Garu and Raja Goundan. Brief introduction about Dr. Raja Goundan. We are really honored to have Dr. P. Raja Goundan, one of the brilliant technocrats of Indian Railways, among us today as our chief guest. Thank you, sir, for having accepted an invitation at a very short notice. Dr. Raja Goundan is an officer of the 1971 batch of IRSEE and served in 5 zonal railways: Southeastern, Northern, Southern, Eastern, and also SCR. In SCR, he worked as CST projects, and during his period of CST projects, I was his deputy CST project for 3 to 4 months. And later he worked as CST South Central Railway. And during that period, he brought out a lot of improvements in the system. In reliability improvement, certainly he had made a real significant impact in South Central Railways. And later he worked as additional member, Telecom Railway Board, and then retired as GM ICF in 2007. He is also deputed to Jambian Railways to head S&T team there. He is very active even after 18 years of his retirement. After retirement, he was asked to establish a center of excellence in wireless technology at IIT Madras, where he still continues to pioneer some of the very significant technological advanced systems in signaling and telecommunication. In 2013, he started a training program at IIT Kharagpur on reliability engineering. He is on the governing council of Institute of Metro and Rail Technology, Hyderabad. Dr. Raja Goundan continues to be a much sought after consultant for many metro rail projects at Hyderabad, Nagpur, Pune and Chennai. He is also lead assessor for key railway projects and consultant in critical areas of signaling, including train collision avoidance systems. Dr. Raja Goundan studied in Tamil medium in Tamil Nadu, graduated from NIT Tiruchi, and later did his masters and PhD from IIT Madras. He is a recipient of innumerable awards like Young Engineer and Engineer of the Year awards from Government of AP and Institution of Engineers. He has about 25 publications to his credit. He is like a professor of IIT. He is currently based in Hyderabad. Both his children are well settled. One of them is a doctor, other one is in US. And thank you, sir, for your great contribution in Indian Railways and to be our chief guest of today. Thank you, sir.
So that was indeed a fascinating journey, starting in studying in a Tamil medium and then coming all the way up. It's a very impressive profile. Now it's a privilege of our President, Shri A. Venkateshwar, to introduce our exceptional achiever. And we are all waiting very eagerly to know a lot more about our keynote speaker. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think you have the right mic. So it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Sudhanshu Mani. And just to mention the coincidence, we have two doctors on stage. One Dr. Raja Goundan, an exceptionally brilliant technocrat, and yet another brilliant technocrat, Dr. Sudhanshu Mani. And this doctorate is in science and also philosophy, which is actually interesting, because while many of us engineers do rise in our own lines of engineering, do PhD in engineering or something like that, he has ventured into so many other diverse fields, and you will be amazed, you will see for yourself the amazing canvas he has painted during his career. My privilege to get down to the business of introducing him. He needs no introduction, surely, but some of those who would like to know the other side, I think it's my privilege to share with you some details. So, Sudhanshu Mani, who is the Achiever of the Year for us in this calendar year for AIRROA, was born in Gorakhpur, and interestingly, he studied in one of the oldest colleges in the country, 1889, Colvin Talukdar's College. This was the college he went to in Lucknow. And also the best of, in those days, the engineering services, Group A services apart, which was the special class railway apprentice at Jamalpur. He belongs to the 1980 batch there. Very soon, accolades came in from various directions as he progressed in his career. The London-based Institute of Mechanical Engineering honored him with a fellowship, which is quite rare for a number of Indian engineers. And during the course of his last few years, even the educational institutions have honored him with Doctor of Science as well as Doctor of Philosophy, both one at Chennai and one at Jaipur. As far as railway concerned, his career is concerned, he has been there amongst us, starting from, if you see, bottom up. He was DRM in Secunderabad, ADRM for a while, DRM. He went to Lucknow, worked in the RDSO, where I think the designing mind in him really enhanced the level of what thoughts were there, which we put to practice later on, much later in ICF. He's worked in Bangalore as DRM, and interestingly, he had a very good stint in Berlin. Usually, mechanical officers are posted at Berlin and sometimes in London, and these are the posts where you get to interact with a lot of international companies, especially in rolling stock and such other things. And I think Dr. Sudhanshu has really taken advantage of that posting and brought to practice all that he saw and learned there. He's been at the apex level. He worked as Director General of Nair for a while, additional charge. He was on Southern, Southwestern Railway as General Manager. And finally, when he created Train 18 at ICF, General Manager ICF, that really must have been his magnum opus term. We'll just have a short video and on Sudhanshu Mani, which will actually give us an idea of the whole thing himself. Can we have that video? वो link click करिएगा. Video. Just one minute. वो video. Okay, I think there is a slight problem. Let me help him out. 1 minute.
Didn't just dream. He dreamt big and turned his dream into a reality. He envisioned running a semi-high-speed train without an engine and achieved it in a record-breaking 18 months. He wasn't alone. He was ably supported by a team of 50 railway engineers and 500 factory workers. This high-speed train is none other than India's pride, the Vande Bharat Express. Launched in 2019, it has revolutionized India's high-speed rail network. Dr. Sudhanshu Mani is known as the father of Vande Bharat trains, and his contribution to India's railways will always be remembered. Today, even after his retirement, he continues to play an industry-focused role. He is on the advisory board of many corporate houses which benefit from his statesmanship and knowledge. He has authored 7 books, one of which captures his journey in leading and completing the Vande Bharat Express project. He shares his expertise by serving as the co-editor and advisory board member for niche publications such as Rail Business. Dr. Mani also has been the keynote speaker and panelist on platforms such as IIMs, IITs, TEDx, and CII conferences, amongst many others. He has a keen eye for art and promotes visual arts in association with a prominent art gallery in Lucknow. He runs a not-for-profit art and culture center and presides over the Rolling Car Society, which promotes technical awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the man of the hour, Dr. Sudhanshu Mani.
चाक की ख्वाहिश अगर वहशत बउरियानी करे, सुबह की मानिंद जख्म दिल बरेमानी करे। ख्वाहिश हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले। निकलना खुद से आदम का सुनते आए हैं लेकिन, निकलना खुद से आदम का सुनते आए हैं लेकिन, बहुत बेआबरू होके तेरे कूचे से हम निकले। मोहब्बत में फर्क है जीने मरने, मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का, मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का। उसी को देख के जीते हैं जिस काफिर पे दम निकले, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश में दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले। नहीं करे
That was, in case some of you could not place him, that was Sudhanshu playing the role of Ghalib in his own production, Bayan and Ghalib. And recently he's did another one on Sahir Ludhianvi, the famous poet, who also wrote for a lot of film songs for our Hindi films. And he played the role of Sahir. You can see him on the right. Okay, my left and your right. Amazing that Sudhanshu without a beard is almost unrecognizable. There are two reasons why we're very happy he's here. We decided that he is surely a candidate for our Achievers Club. And the other is that we all know wonderful work he has done on Vande Bharat. And many of us wanted to listen to him separately on that. We also thought that we'll take this occasion to honor him, induct him into our Achievers Club. So I would request, just to know a little more about the Achievers Club, I would request our secretary, Mr. Sukumaran, to tell us about the Achievers Club. Very briefly, because we are told that, Shakil, the GM has started? Okay, so as soon as we get the prompt, the GM South Central will be joining us. But in the meanwhile, we'll quickly run through because we want to listen to Mr. Sudhanshu also. The Achievers Club, we have, Sukumaran, we'll just go through our last 6 achievers briefly. You can just say that, yeah. So I give it over to our secretary, Mr. Sukumaran.
Once again, good afternoon. This Achievers Club was something we have conceived during 24-25, and we decided that railways, people are doing quite a lot of things. It's very difficult to compare. Then who takes a lot of interest in some other activities other than their railway also? Such persons we have decided to honor appropriately. In fact, a committee was formed in which President, Secretary, and Mohan and another advisor are members of this committee.
Yeah, actually the background of this Achievers Club is available in our Railways Guardian also, not in this issue, in the earlier issue. We will, Sukumaran, could you tell us more about the awardees of the last 6?
Yeah.
It's there on the, for those who are.
So any field, if a person other than railway also is there, we select mostly beyond railway, who have done some accomplished, including on railway. We are considering. And similarly, during 24-25, we have the first person whom we have elected, found to be, rather, we have included in our club was Annavarapu A. Ramarao Garu. In fact, he was president of this association in earlier days. He was retired COPS Eastern Railway. And second person was Vaidya Pammi Satyanarayana Shastri Garu, who has a renowned Ayurvedic scholar and published over 200 books on Ayurveda. His trust has digitalized 1,200 of his books. So we, I think in 1998 he has retired at 87, and now he, at that time he was 87 years. Another member that we have, another railwayman we have taken is Somnath Pal. He retired in 2007, and he is a founder chair, IEEE, Reliability Society, and a member of Safety Working Group on Railways, UK. He is a very accomplished person. We have included him in our club and honored him. And next person who we have considered was Dr. V. Indira, who is sitting right on the dais, that she is a proficient athlete and won lot of national awards. Apart from that, she has been a commissioner of Bharat Scouts and Guides. And her achievement on railways are really great. She is a winner of so many awards. Then Colonel K. Prabhakar Rao, who retired as CME East Coast Railway, ECR Railway, not East Coast Railway, ECR Railway, Hajipur. And he was an imaginative photographer. In fact, he became a photographer after his retirement of international repute. He had over 1 lakh photos, widely traveled 7 continents, explorer of historical moments, and 10 wildlife sanctuaries. 31. He has visited 31 countries in just 600 days. Really, we can't even imagine an achievement to that extent, where he, I think, except southern Antarctica, I think he visited.
No, KP informed us that he's just finished Australia, which was the last. He has, a couple of years ago, he was already there in Antarctica. So 7 continents he has set foot, which is a record for perhaps a lot of Indians, much less railwaymen. And such an unassuming man, it really required a lot of effort to pull him out of his house and ask him to come here. Those who were there in July would have noticed that in April last, we had honored him. Yeah, and avid photographer, over 1 lakh photos, National Geographic fame. I don't want to say anything more, but that is for another day. Please, yeah.
Anyway, that was something great, unimaginable by a normal person. But after retirement, he did everything. Now, the 6th person was Padma Shri, Dr. Ananda Shankar Jayant, who retired as CAO Systems. She had immensely contributed to Indian art and culture as a performing Bharatanatyam artist of international repute. In fact, I had the privilege to live in the same complex where she was living for some time, a few months. In fact, she was a cancer survivor too, inspiration to all of us. I think that is it. And I would suggest each one of us should try to enter this Achievers Club by their activities. Railways work is over. Now you have a scope to enter the club by other activities in your retired life. Thank you. Thank you.
So we will now formally induct Dr. Sudhanshu Mani before he gives his keynote address into the Achievers Club. I would request our chief guest, can we have a chair here, please?
Most welcome, sir. I think this is the highest level of achievement. As we honor our visionary today, we are reminded of Shakespeare's timeless words. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Dr. Sudhanshu Mani is indeed achieved greatness through his vision, creativity, and relentless pursuit of excellence by creating the Vande Bharat Express. India's pride and symbol of modern engineering stands as a living testament to his imagination, innovation, leadership, and is justifiably coined as father of Vande Bharat. Shakespeare also said, "It's not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." Sir, you have shown the courage, conviction, and commitment. And I was very happy hearing his mission statement, a very simple mission statement. He said, love yourself, love your work, and love all the people working with you. And that is how he has achieved this success. On behalf of the All India Railway Retired Officers Association, we proudly felicitate Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, the creator of Vande Bharat, an achiever who inspires us all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being an amazing audience and giving us a wonderful applause. Now we have the keynote address by our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage now belongs to the man of the hour, Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, the creator of India's engineering marvel, that is the Vande Bharat Express. We are eagerly waiting to listen to him. I think though we are all retired, we can take this mission statement home, even now, till the last breath. Love yourself, love your work. Most of us are still working in different fields, different aspects, and love the people around you. That makes our life wonderful. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Ma'am, good morning, my senior colleagues and my colleagues. Ma'am, you inspire me, you entice me to begin with Shakespeare. So, in Julius Caesar, Antony at one stage says that men's evil that men do lives after them. Their good is oft interred with their bones. And also in, I believe, Henry VIII, Griffith at one place says that men's evil manners live in brass. Their virtues we write in water. So today, Mr. Venkateshwar and all of you have proved my Uncle Shakespeare wrong by giving me this immense honor, even as I live. So thank you very much. There's another thing that I cannot tell you from memory, so I have it on my phone, if you permit me. And so this is about honor. Herbert Hoover, President of the US, had written about engineering, I will replace engineering with railways. And what he wrote was, railways is a great profession. The great liability of the railwayman compared to men of other professions is that his works are out in the open, where all can see them. He cannot bury his mistakes in the grave like the doctors. He cannot argue them into thin air or blame the judge like the lawyers. He cannot, like the politicians, screen his shortcoming by blaming his opponents and hope the people will forget. If his works do not work, he is damned. But the verdict of his fellow professional is all the accolade that he wants. And that's been proven today. I have received some minor awards here and there, but perhaps this is the greatest, as I'm honored by my fellow railwaymen. Yeah.
So we'll start.
Yeah, if you can. So as you know, largely I'm invited to speak about the train. Last time I was invited recently somewhere, and so I think I've done some things in life, a little glimpse here and there of what you saw, but the world doesn't think so. So somebody invited me, and he says, I asked him what should I speak, and he said, why, your achievement? And I said, which one? So she was totally aghast. He said, we know of only one. But there are fortunately, some expectations today, as Mr. Venkateshwar told me, is sharing experience of Vande Bharat, but also Indian Railways in general, and a bit on the Bard and Ghalib. So that gives me a little bit of more leeway. But let me have some caveats. I am, like all of you, a railway man for life. So we have an inherent right to be derailed. Now, how long am I going to be derailed rests with Mr. Venkateshwar. I hope he has a bell.
No bells for the Vande Bharat.
So I said, this time I'm going to Hyderabad, all happy about it, speaking to my colleagues. And I cannot just go with the same cock and bull story, so what do I do? So I was told, it's very simple, just try to be original and good. Little did he know that the problem is what is original is not good. And what is good is not that original. Nevertheless, I'll try to start this story. But since I have that leeway of Indian Railways in general, there are two things I want to say. I want to begin with a story. And I mean about the bell, because they are here, they are not going back without the lunch, so please be kind to them and ring a bell when it's time. So it's about two donkey stories. One is good for all retired people, not those senior to me, those who have retired recently. I don't think any serving officers are here, nevertheless. So there was a donkey which an idol maker used to load with all kinds of idols of goddesses and gods. And as he was transporting it, as he would pass through a village, all the villagers would bow before it. They would obeisance, do pranam, because of the load he was carrying. And the donkey thought it was all about him. After the idols were unloaded and he was coming back the same way, no villager noticed him. So to draw their attention, he started braying. And the people got irritated and gave him a good beating. So what I'm trying to say, all us retired people must realize that all the attention we got when we were in service was because of the burden we carried. Relieved of the burden today, it's time to enjoy life and not bother about all the trappings of that office that we enjoyed. The other story was something I related right here in this club in 2006, perhaps, during the cultural meet. Maybe some of you were there, some of you do remember. It's about, futility of which post is good and which post is not. So the DRM Nanded was also present. It was a newly created division without any ADRM. In Sikandrabad, we were 2. So whenever the DRM went on leave, we were packed off to Nanded. We used to wait for that, alternatively. In fact, we used to go straight to Aurangabad. We were told, don't go to Nanded. It's all right if you stay in Aurangabad. So I remember first time I went there, I told whoever was with me that, okay, morning, 6:15, please give me tea and tell deputy to call me and give position. If there is anybody from Nanded, don't take it to heart, please. So the tea came promptly, but no call came about the position. So irritated, I called the deputy and I said, "Bhai, position dena tha." He said, "Saab, aapko disturb nahi kiya kyunki koi position nahi hai." He said, all the trains, 12 trains or whatever, are right time, and we have not done any loading. So aapko kya, kyun disturb kare? So here's, in that cultural meet, I told this story about the other donkey. There was a donkey with a king who would never say no to anything. They were irritated. They would beat him, or they would say, give you a slap, and he would say yes. So the king was frustrated. He announced an award that anybody who can make this donkey say no will be given a lot of pearls and jewels and so on. So many people came and tried, and all of them failed. Whatever they tried, the donkey would just say yes. One fellow came from these parts, so he went to the donkey and whispered something in his ear. And the donkey started. So he was given a lot of wealth, and as he was leaving, that king asked him, what exactly did you say? He said, "Sir, chhodiye sahab." Bola, no, you have to tell me. So he said, I asked the donkey, DRM Nanded banoge? DRM Nanded was in the audience. He never spoke to me after that. All right, I'll try to begin the story, do some justice to this invitation, in the belief that wine of this story, those who like their wine know that good men like us, with age, we mature, we don't turn to vinegar. So the story remains. Well, I need not. This is something line for all non-railway audience. You cannot imagine India without Indian Railways. You cannot ignore it, love it or hate it. Before I begin, let me tell you another line of Portia from The Merchant of Venice. If to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor man's cottages, princesses' palaces. In the same vein, my friends, whatever I say is nothing that I invented. It's all learned from able seniors. Each and everything that I tried. And if you ask me whatever I preach today, did I actually follow that? I have to only say mea culpa. I did not. I tried. As I grew in railways, I tried more. But everything was learned from some senior or the other. And I'm so grateful for them, the leaders that we had those times. I'll only speak about little bit about whatever little I was able to achieve thanks to a wonderful team which was always bequeathed to me, not my doing. As you know, even as GM, you cannot choose your team like a CEO, but you have to do with the team you have, and very fortunate to have a wonderful team practically everywhere. So, you know the romance, the legacy, the history, railwaymen or non-railwaymen that fight for that window seat as the wonder, the magic of India passed you by. Desolate here, crowded there, celebration, joy, sadness, mourning, hard work, grind, indolence, sloth, so much so that on Indian Railways, the journey became the objective, not the destination. And even today, when you have all these swanky airports and even bus stations, a platform of an Indian railway station is still one where everyone gets leveled to some extent. The richest to the poorest, because of sheer reach of Indian railways, stand next to each other to catch the same train. But it's not about the romance or the history. It's about what you see on the right-hand corner of your screen. That's the recall of an Indian Railways train even today. And it's been so for decades, in spite of whatever, the induction of some technology here and there. I come from a railway family who travel in trains, actually luxuriously in saloons, but so on. But we used to get those, I'm taking you back to early 70s. We used to get those magazines from Germany and Japan with their trains. And I always wondered, when is India going to have a aesthetically superior, modern, speedier, technologically advanced train, which could somewhat look like this. And that was kind of a angst and also a dream, which I nurtured even before I joined railways. And okay, there is some discourse which says, because I wanted to build the train, I joined the railways. Nothing like that. It was pure and simple bread and butter issue. Getting selected at the age of 17 with a fat stipend was too much, so I left the engineering college I was in and joined SCRA. But let's talk a little bit about dreams, because all of you have children who have grown up and you would occasionally give them advice, and we tell them, not having lived all our dreams of all our lives, not having lived our dreams till now, we tell youngsters, go out and live your dream. I would qualify it to say that, well, dreams are good, but there are 4 things which are more important. And I'm sure all of you will agree. That's your family, your friends, your spirit, and your health. Look after that. Dreams, let it remain in a corner somewhere. Let it not be extinguished. Let it not be, let it live, but be patient with it. But when the opportunity comes, and it will come, that's the time to remember these wonderful words of the people's president. That dream is not the thing that you see in sleep, but is that thing that doesn't let you sleep. I'll come to those slides because I don't want to speak about the train much. A glimpse has been given by Mr. Venkateshwar very kindly. If I had this dream for the train, well, I was able to realize it thanks to the team I talked about when I was 57 and a half years old. So, the message is very simple for youngsters, not for you, to tell them that dreams are good, but let them linger, let them not consume you. A little bit about Make in India, you were aware, it was started by this government of the present day government. Some successes, some failures to make India a factory of the world, a manufacturing hub. Later came COVID, it was rejigged into Atmanirbhar Bharat with the hope that these lines of Make in India will roar into self-reliance. But to my mind, the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat is somewhat missing. There are schemes like productivity-linked bonuses and so on, and incentives and so on. But what I try to say, as you're aware, whatever runs in railways, locomotives, trains, cranes, whatever, is all manufactured in India. It's practically 99%. Everything, hardly anything is imported. But in spite of passage of decades, are we still able to manufacture to the standard we imported? No. You can get all the drawing specification protocols, you can have them come and lecture you in shop floors. You are sent abroad to learn from them, which are like picnic, you know. But You still don't manufacture to the standard you imported. And that's because technology, to my mind, is a creation which lives in the mind as well as the heart of the creator. There's no way to fully transfer that. There's something that you don't get. I'm reminded of a couplet, and I'll translate it. मेरे शेर आईना खाने में तेरी बेशुमार अदाओं के. I can go poetic about your beauty. मेरे शेर आईना खाने में तेरी बेशुमार अदाओं के, मगर ऐसी भी है कोई अदा जो रहेगी सीना ए राज में. There is some elegance in your beauty which will remain buried in the recesses of my heart. Nobody is going to get access to that. So, adapt, steal, transfer, borrow, whatever. But you must stamp it with some creativity of your own, because with that comes ownership. And with ownership comes pride. And with pride, you can do 120, 130% more than what you are otherwise capable of. We are stuck between being mindlessly global and hopelessly local. The truth, to my mind, is nearer being local, not hopelessly local, but hopefully local. And unless the gap is too large, there are gaps, like a high-speed train. We are not there to really design the whole entire system, including the train. We have to go there in steps. But unless the gap is too large, if the gap is within reach with some great effort, that's the way to go. And that, to my mind, is the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. For example, everyone is gaga about the number of iPhones made in India. But look at the intellectual content in that phone. It is zero. It can make you a factory of the world. So can Thailand, so can Vietnam, so can Bangladesh. Is that what we are looking for? I'll not speak more. It's good. I'm not against it. But it cannot be a matter of that great pride, to my mind. A little bit about, since I have the license to speak about Indian Railways. So, one GM, when I was a senior scale officer, asked me, what is your job? So I had a job sheet or something, I rattled it, and I spilled it out, and he said, that's the mistake you made. Nobody told you that your job is not what your job is? I failed to understand. Then he said, you think you are doing great, your outage is great, your failure rate is great, and so on. You are buried in statistics. Yes, that's important, but that's 20% of your job. Somebody who was there before you or who's going to come after you is equally capable. You can hang your statistics wherever you want. It's not going to make a difference. I'm not saying you don't do that job, but remember, whichever is your job, after you have completed it, after your tenure, can you look back and say that these were the things that would not have been done if I was not on that chair? That was a beginning of something that I liked. I'm not saying I practiced it. I'll just give some examples. So the first one you see, which was in my mind, is so these red-shirted fellows, we call them coolies. Britishers taught us to call them coolies. If you look at the meaning of the word, you will never call them coolies again, because they are as much your countrymen as you are. So calling them porters, so you would have seen at times, it's becoming rare because everyone has a trolley and their livelihood is threatened with 3 tiers of luggage and 1 bag in each arm, with his neck bending and you walking next to him, and even bargaining for 5 or 10 rupees with him. I always thought, not today when this Viksit Bharat thing has become a fashion, but earlier, whether India is going to be a developed country someday and whether we are going to see this on our platforms. In this place, as ADRM, platform number 10, that was the best platform in all of India that time, 2004, 4. So each airport type cart costs 15,000 rupees that time. We put 10 of them and they were broken in 3 days by the porters. Because we tried to do it without any empathy. We thought we are improving the image of railways by providing this facility to passengers. I realized that's not going to work. When I became DRM in Bangalore, so we could not, as railways, take CSR. Now I believe you can. But thanks to my RDSO posting and many banks and so on, I said we want these trolleys for all stations in Bangalore area, major stations, Yashwantpur, City, Kant and Krishnarajpuram, which would mean about 400 trolleys. Expenditure more than 50 lakhs because each trolley, as I told you, 15,000 rupees. They gladly came forward because they could do this CSR for the porters who are not railwaymen. So I called 50 of these porters to my room as DRM. They could never hardly enter the divisional office. To enter the DRM's room was something beyond them. But we put 50 chairs, we offered them tea, and we said, we want to give you these trolleys. So they thought, here, this guy trying to kill our livelihood. We held 3 meetings and tried to convince them that these trolleys will belong to you. You will charge exactly what you charge today. I'm only giving this to remove this ugly face of Indian Railways. So it was launched, and after 1 week, the station superintendent, an officer, I think senior scale, I don't remember. After 7 days, I told him, I threatened him. Actually, some senior also told me that when you want to threaten somebody, threaten that person with something that is beyond you, is not in your powers. If you cannot suspend somebody, say, I'll suspend you. That will set him thinking. Anyway, so I told the station superintendent that I give you 3 days. If I see any head loading in Bangalore station, I'll send you home. He said, sir, so many things. I said, I know that. I'll come to that Lalaguda story also. Don't worry, train running is not your job. Station, this is your only job. It worked. Head loading disappeared. Whatever. When I left Bangalore division, I believe, I am not going to curse anybody. I believe it was thought that giving trolleys to porters is not our job. Train running is. So it went into disuse. My failure, I didn't build a sustainable system. But nevertheless, the impact it left is something I'm going to tell you, which gives me goosebumps even today, is after 10 years, I was going to take a train from Bangalore to Chennai. I travel mostly nowadays to South India from Lucknow, so it can never take a train. But that time I was going to Chennai, so I took a train. I thought I'll go to Kent station because the city, somebody will recognize me and there'll be unnecessary fuss. As I got down, a porter came forward and it was a small trolley that I had, very lightweight. He just took it from me and I said, 100 rupees gone for no reason. So he took me to the train and put me in my compartment. As I took my 100 rupees note, he walked away. I said, Kya bhai? He said, in Bangalore, no porter is going to take any money from you. That is something that lives with me today, and not so many other things that I claim to have done. In the center, you see something, I'll briefly say this. You have these carts pushed by 4 people like that, and they shout, ho, 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 to remove all passengers. Because here is the juggernaut coming. Another ugly face. In Secunderabad and Bangalore, I don't know if it's working today. We got compliment. We simply introduced battery trucks with flashers and sirens, and you will be surprised how many agencies carry hand carts on stations. 15. It's not just the parcel people or RMS. There are so many. Every CNW fellow, electrical fellow, all of them have these ugly carts. Well, it succeeded in Secunderabad. We did it in Bangalore also. But more importantly, again, coming to Secunderabad, what you see here is, these are the days when all the muck was thrown on the track, not the days of bio-toilets, for which we take a lot of credit. Actually, bio-toilets, you must be aware, we have been able to really implement it because of the danda of Supreme Court. It was not something as railway mechanical engineers were so willing to do, but nevertheless, those were the days when everything was thrown on the track. And you look at these ladies, they used to work there without any protective gear. And as ADRM, I had all the time, because that's one of the best postings possible, you know. So I would go and meet them and ask them if they had any pride in their work. So I remember one of the ladies said, "You look at us. Please look at us. What pride can we have in our work?" So it was easy. Through the senior DMM, we just started ordering indiscriminately all the protective gearing. What you see in this center is Mr. Janki Rama Rao, on a ride on. Hello, you're here. Okay, right. You remember these stories? Am I exaggerating? So we gave him a ride-on scrubber and gave him a dark pant and a shirt and a tie. And I said, every morning, you will just take this. And even airports did not have, please sit down. Even airports did not have such scrubbers that time, 2005. And I said, you have to convey to you, to public, to everyone working under you, that you do a job with pride. And after these, some of them, you know, dressed like astronauts, and we used to do a lot of drama also to get more sanctions and all. When GM used to come as protocol officer, that's I mean, one of the duties of ADRM is to receive GM on platform. So, and I remember when governor used to come, we used to be pushed, and one assistant officer from state government used to come, so we used to stand next to each other. But so Mr. Janki Rama Rao would have some guy with a machine encircling the GM as he walked. And once Mrs. Mathuru, GM's wife, he said, "Why is this guy taking circles all around you?" I said, "We want to impress the GM and get more money for these 5 hours." But when I met them, Mr. Janki Rama Rao will tell you, then these workers, they said, yes, now we have pride in our work. And he was the one, he actually, I don't know if you remember, I don't know how it is today, but it became one of the cleanest stations in Indian Railways. And I was called the Safai Dhulai ADRM, which I did not mind at all, because I was able to utilize my time somehow. We were talking of dreams. Am I digressing too much, sir? Not so much about the train.
Maybe we'll have more questions, so another 10 minutes.
Yeah. So about the train, we'll leave it to the question and answer. About the dreams, so this is a 5,500 horsepower locomotive. When EMD, we had a technology, they wanted to build it. We had to, because we didn't have the engine. But we said, we are the leader in RDSO. You are a supporter, because we want pride in this work. And we did become the only country after China and US to build a 5,500 horsepower in the world. And that gives me as much pride as Vande Bharat. But of course, it's a locomotive which was not proliferated, diesel stop. But nevertheless, locomotive is not something which the public appreciates, but I thought I'll bring it up. And then what Mr. Venkateshwar told you about, I had this dream to bring the poetry of Shakespeare and Ghalib to the people, compare it. So I wrote that book, and later wanted to bring the poetry of Ghalib through a medium which people would appreciate, because you can understand the words of a Ghalib's couplet, but you will not get the essence, because he's very abstruse, very arcane. So I contacted Kumkum Dhar, who's a great Kathak exponent, a good singer, and he said, I want to do a play in which we will bring Ghalib with dance, music, recitation and narration, and we were able to do it. It was something that was living with me for 25 years. Obviously during service, not something one could do. I was able to do it when I was 65 years old. And a year later, playing Sahir in this play, and hope to bring it to Hyderabad someday, because Ghalib we have already done in Hyderabad. All about waiting patiently for the time to realize your dream. I'll actually say only 2-3 things and try to end it, because if there is time, maybe I'll read a passage from the Ghalib Shakespeare book. We are indeed a very feudal organization, we like it or not. What the Britishers taught us, we still follow. I also followed the same, no exception. It's a lot of hierarchy, protocol, walls, distance between those administered and those administering is not something that can go on in a developed country. Nevertheless, this 10,000 crore enterprise, 12,000 workers, the CME told me that, so you have ideas, you want to spend money, 0.5% I said is mine, improving things, go and do that, but don't interfere with production. So I had a lot of time. And I said the one way to really improve things is if we just shed our ego a little bit and adapt some empathy, which can come only if you love the people you work with, love what you do, love your organization sincerely. And if you don't, it's better, unless it's a serious bread and butter issue, better quit. In fact, some probationers had met me when I was about to retire. He said, we met this gentleman with 17 years of service. He said, कहाँ आ गए यार, किस खटारा organization में join कर लिया? ये कोई organization है, यहाँ चले और छोड़ के जाओ. I said, are you going to listen to him? They were blank. I said, look, this guy has spent 17 years and he's saying this, can you get a better loser? And are you going to listen to this loser? Why I'm trying to say, unless it's a serious bread and butter issue, quit. Because you're doing a great disservice to your organization and to yourself by being stuck in a job you don't like. Enjoy every moment. And unless AI takes over someday, today human resource still is the most important resource you have. Unless they are with you, you're not going anywhere much. As one poet has said, एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. This word love has this brief story. एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है, सिमटे तो दिले आशिक और फैले तो ज़माना है. If it expands, it is the world. So, I did it somewhat, as I told you, the CME told me not to interfere with production. I would just take their 2 factories, take a walk and meet maybe 200, 300 workers. So GM fellow is, I don't know if Mr. Dr. Raja Goundan will agree, but he's like a ceremonial gentleman. He goes to the factory when he has to cut a ribbon or get garlanded or something. So I would go and tell them that I am such and such, I am your general manager, because they wouldn't know who the GM is. And ask them one question my CPO had told never to ask with 200 workers around. Ask them a simple question in my broken Tamil. Any problem? I was told I'll be flooded with problem. 99% of the time the answer was, no problem, sir. It only helped to build a bond which did not exist. I believe we drew great dividends from that. And one more example, it's about the inauguration. I won't get into it because I accept the politicians, all the inaugural plaques that carried any executive's name from chairman railway board to member to secretary to GM to HOD. I said, extract it and throw it in the dust. That's where it belongs. And from now on, except it's a big thing, some exponent, Bharatanatyam exponent, sports personality of Chennai, everything else will be launched by the senior most member of that staff from that area, because he or she is the one who's given blood, sweat and tears to that area. He or she is the one who would stand next to that plaque with only her or his name, take back a memory that will live with that person lifelong, and stand next to it with his family, his spouse, his children, his parents. We did more than 500 such inaugurations because we were spending a lot of money. And one last thing, where you see this party in GM's house. So GM's, I believe the annual allotment of networking or entertainment fund, whatever you call it, used to be in the range of 30 lakhs. So I said, I don't need to do any networking, I can do it otherwise, but why can't I just use it to call all technicians and fitters and supervisors and officers to GM's bungalow? He said, how can you do that, sir? He said, okay, show me. GMs, you know, unless there is a negative list. So I said, please show me that I cannot do it. Obviously, they could not show it. So all that 30 lakhs I spent on inviting these technicians and fitters and supervisors and officers to GM's bungalow. Some of them, it has a high walls, so they don't know what goes inside. It was quite a pleasure to entertain them in GM's bungalow. And so don't read anything here. You have seen this picture, I'm sure. Manani Rahul Gandhi hugged the Prime Minister in the Parliament. That's not important. What's important is what the Prime Minister said. And that's what I was doing. और आज पता लगा कि गले लगने और गले पड़ने में क्या फर्क होता है. I was gale padhoing these people. So I'll skip these things. I'll just speak 1 minute about this. So we have this Vishakha and all that, you know. When some sexual harassment at work, Vishakha comes into play, lady officers, inquiry, this and that, societal pressure. Nothing happens. You know, the victim agrees and the perpetrator escapes. I said, okay, we are administrators, not the Supreme Court Justice of India. I hear of a case, or any officer hears of a case. We don't want any inquiry. We don't want any deposement. We don't want any statement. A lady officer will go and record whatever she learns from him. And we will, from word of mouth, here and there, determine if the complaint is false. Because there may be a complaint which is false to settle some score. Having determined that the complaint is genuine, I or all the officers, depending upon the scale of the person, the perpetrator, and the scale of the officer, will record that an inquiry is not possible in this case. It's not legally valid, but nevertheless, inquiry is not possible in this case because we don't want the victim to relive that horror. And using the powers of 14(2), I sacked this fellow today to be out of ICF gate, never to return again unless he wins in a court. Till I lived, we removed 4 such people, nobody had come back. So many ladies came and we said we were employed as technicians, fitters, welders, but these men use us as helpers. I said, in that case, what do you want? They said, segregate us and we'll show we can do better than men. We made many segregated gangs. They said it's not segregation, it's empowerment. In plumbing work, test work, electronics work, testing work, so many places we did very well. What I leave with you is these 29 Chennai women, aged 23 to 57, supervised by a lady supervisor, manufacturing a railway coach through heavy welding, lifting, and fitting entirely on their own. And the pride they had in their work is, you can see in the other, we called it other picture, dressed as airport pilots. I don't know if it continues, but it was splashed all over Chennai and they had that message had gone. Yeah, I'll just come to the last. Two things that I want to say is, so had a great team, having learned through the technology. They were raring to go. All I needed was to channelize that energy. And GMs had been, 2 things were very important. GMs were empowered by this government, particularly Mr. Prabhu. Uncharitable version says he didn't want to deal with files. Charitable version, he empowered the GMs, so nothing would go to board. But they said, you are trying to build a 180 kilometers per hour train with no engine, with no locomotive, so to say, all equipment under the board. It's a new animal, so you need railway board's ministry's approval. I said, okay, I'll get it from board. We sent the proposal. I was foolhardy, met with cynicism and skepticism, and they said I was just trying to come in way of import, publicity, and so on. Whatever, I went to Mr. Mittal, God bless his soul, he's no more, the chairman. I said, do you think we can do it? He said, yes, so give me the sanction for 2 trains, import whatever you want, who am I to stop you? As he was wavering, I grabbed his feet. I said, I'm not leaving it till you give me the sanction. So a lot of people ask me today, did you actually do it or it's figurative? I said, if you're so curious, you have to go up and find out. It was between me and him. But what it matters is basically it's about pride and vanity. Pride enhances you because you look at everyone with happiness. Vanity diminishes you because you belittle others to elevate yourself. By grabbing his feet, I was enhancing my pride because I go back to my people with the sanction to start work. And vanity, one of you is going to kill it anyway someday, so why not kill it yourself? And last thing is, if it fails, 2,250 crores down the drain, so who will be the scapegoat? I said, well, I have an answer for that. I am older to all of you, retiring in December 18. So which better scapegoat can they find? What can they do to a retired person? Actually, they tried, but that's another matter. That time it worked. It is how we define success. We give something, we give hard work, we work hard. There's an outcome of value that's called success, which is wrong. Actually, if you give your passion, your commitment, your hard work, your life to anything, you have already succeeded because you can't do more than that. Success may not come today, may come tomorrow. It will come with that kind of passion. And the fear of outcome prevents what Uncle has said, great Uncle Shakespeare, that our doubts are traitors which make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. These were the messages that I gave them. Finally, we were able to, we gave it a name, Train 18, so that to convey to everyone that it must be out in 2018. It lived up to its name once again and got done exactly in 18 months. You know, this is how the map looks, almost like the map of India, of Vande Bharat services. So, as I end, it was great working with the team for those 18 months. As my uncle has said, things one are done, but joy so lies in the doing. It was sheer joy doing it, but people like Mr. Venkateshwar give me a chance to relive that joy once again, so thank you very much. And having worked in private sector for last 6-7 years, railways have that 10 to 20% gems which make the railways go, which are there to do anything that you want, provided it's within the realm of possibilities. With such people, and private sector does not have that, let me tell you, does not have those gems. With such people, all million such projects are possible. All you need is leadership with empathy, passion, and a sense of purpose. Thank you very much.
So much, sir. This is the best keynote address we ever heard till date. And it's a great, a very unique and unparalleled blend of mechanical engineering, experience in railways, a mixture of drama, art, and literature. All the way from Ghalib to Shakespeare, we had a wonderful journey. Thank you very much, sir. We are honored. Now I request our chief guest, Sri Raja Goundan sir, to kindly address the audience.
Dr. Mani, the office bearers of the association, and friends. Good afternoon. So you have heard Dr. Mani's thought process. Now, most of the inventions, it takes a lot of time to fructify and prove itself. And some fail and people are forgotten. Now, Vande Bharat story is not like that. Now, the last map, you must have seen what Dr. Mani has shown. That is the proof of the pudding. So much of roots. Vande Bharat is so popular among the people. The other day I went to my village. I tried to take Vande Bharat, but I could not get. So I went by the ordinary train, West Coast Express, to Road. So next day, in the village, typical, I was just talking to people. So one man just casually asked me, எப்படி வந்தீங்க நீங்க? How did you come? I said, I came by train. Vande Bharatல வந்தீங்களா? So even a man like his stature, he knows what is Vande Bharat. That is the popularity of Vande Bharat. Now I will only draw two parallels. This Vande Bharat has revolutionized the passenger transportation. I will only like to two parallels here. What Dr. Mani has done is something similar to what Dr. Sridharan has done to metro transportation in passenger transport. And the second parallel is, I being a signal engineer, I can only quote a signaling example. We were running systems like time-based, time interval system till the 1840s. One train was dispatched after 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes trains are dispatched. We don't know what happens to the train, they meet with the accident or not. So it was not popular. Then 1840 somebody came up with the idea, why not we go for space interval system? Give space between the two trains, there is no chance of accidents. Now 1840 space interval came and still it is remained. And I am going to say it is going to remain for the next century or even more. Nothing is going to change. Similarly, Vande Bharat has changed the passenger transportation so much, I am sure it will change for another century, it will stay as it is and further improve. Now for all this, definitely Mr. Mani is an ideal candidate for our Achievers Club, but it's a very small token we are giving him. But I think he deserves a national recognition. Train 18, 218 onwards, from 220 onwards, every December, every January, I used to see the newspaper list whether Mani is appearing in the Padma Shri awardee or not. But unfortunately, till now it has not come. Now my request to the President is, this is an All India association. We must very strongly recommend to the minister, ministries, or whoever is the power be for a Padma Shri award to Dr. Mani. So that will be the final recognition of the work. This is something very fundamental in rail transportation. So we must recognize that, and let us hope one day we will achieve that. Thank you, Dr. Mani. All the very best.
That's a great idea indeed, sir. Thank you very much. I hope we'll see that in future. Every memorable occasion deserves a moment of gratitude. We would now like to present our chief guest, Dr. Raja Goundan, a small token from All India Railway Retired Officers Association. Our tokens are very small in size, but they carry a lot of admiration and regards to our guests. It's been indeed a day of meaningful discussion, valuable insights, and inspiring messages. We look forward to meet you all with renewed energy. Until then, request all of you to stay safe, stay connected to each other, and keep the AIRROA spirit alive. After this, we'll have hot, delicious lunches waiting for all of us. I request our Vice President, Sri Mehboob sir, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. I request all the EC members to kindly stand by after this.
Good afternoon, respected dear members of the Retired Officers Association. I am very glad to and thankful to all the members for actively participating in the general body meeting, and especially my seniors. Many seniors have come, and this is a great opportunity for all of us to have interactions in the general body meeting, which held every quarter, and really great. Today morning, one member phoned up to me at 7:30 a.m. that today is a Telangana Bandh. So any meetings or any reschedule, etc. It put me in a dilemma. I told him that no, the meeting will be as per schedule. But it put me a dilemma in my heart that, because of the transport issues, many may not come. But today, after seeing the good presence here, so glad that all of you are attended this meeting. Today is a great day. Two towering personalities, not in the physics wise, I am done the height wise, etc., but multifaceted personalities, as you have seen from the profile, and they left some legacy and they imprinted and great achievements they have done, and it's glad to see, especially after listening, and myself also after seeing the profiles, etc. It's a great thing, and it's a inspiration for all of us. As somebody is telling, we have to also compete for the competitiveness even after the retirement also. So I think some people also may come forward after, because for innovation, etc., there is no age. What is currently, as sir told, is passion is required. That's what I came to know. And as Dr. Goundan sir is my boss, and I worked under him, and I know how much meticulous he is. So I learned a lot. As I told our seniors, lot of things we learned. That's how I also brought up a lot of ideas after working under our Dr. Goundan. And I'm not fortunate to work along with Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, but I used to lead Hindu articles where he used to write about railways, and you please remember, I kept some Hindu articles even today with me in my files. So they are all very rich in content. They are very, very, even ever, as you told, Vande Bharat will be forever for the next centuries. Similarly, the articles what he used to write in Hindu, I just kept him, and once in a while I review it and read it. And today, I just, after listening to him about so much about Dr. Sudhanshu Mani, I want to see him, I want to interact with him. By God's grace, today I had that interaction, and after seeing his multifaceted personality, and after seeing his play in the Ghalib, I was wonderstruck. Thank you, sir. And yesterday I phoned up to Alam, my colleague, who also stays in Lucknow, and told him Dr. Mani is coming and addressing the Oh yeah, it's difficult. How he is agreed to? He's such a busy and with so many activities. He is not having any time. It's really great. Sir, I am very, very thankful to you for coming and gracing this function and giving the guidance. Today I saw his keynote address, and see the words, etc., whatever he is mentioning is the pearls of wisdom, and for everybody to emulate. And thank you. Today, might have seen, everybody seen, lot of visible changes are coming with the innovative president, and as you seeing, and nothing, there is no freebies. For everything cost money. I request all of you, donate sympathetically. and finally, for logistic support, I thank our senior TST Hyderabad, and with his help only we could get all this video wall and so many other things. Thank you, and thank you, sir.
We shall close this memorable session with our national anthem. I request all of you to kindly stand up. Mr. Shakil Ahmed, our EC member, will render the song.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ा उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभाशिष समाहे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद.
I request all EC members to just stay on for 2 minutes. Come on to the stage. Others, if they wish to have a photograph with Dr. Sudhanshu, they are welcome. We'll just finish a session here. Others can proceed to the lunchroom. Yeah.
उनसे मेरा भी एक फोटो